Mickey if not Cartel, back with another beer review. This time I'm going to review Beer Farm Milk Stout, 375ml can, 1.6 standard drinks, 5.5% ABV. Beer Farm is built on an old dairy farm in WA's world famous Margaret River region. You can still see the herringbone milking parlour on your way into our bar. You see, it was always in our future to brew a milk stout. This seasonal release combines velvety milk sweeteners with well-rounded cocoa and coffee flavours. Generosity is in our nature, so we didn't scrimp on the hops either. So, a lot of breweries, well, around the world, as you know, but particularly here in Australia, for the history of and the fact that we are, and I am from Australia, and do follow closely the history of particular breweries, and a lot of our breweries are built on in and around some of the most historical buildings and places in our country. So we've got breweries here that are built in old World War bunkers, picture theatres, milking parlours, plenty around. Lots and lots of breweries that are particularly a couple of local ones here in Newcastle that have just not so recently, but quite newly, have set up in some of the older buildings within the inner city and the harbour dwellings of Newcastle. So this one out of WA, once again, they are Western Australia, Metric Cup Western Australia to be precise. This is their milk stout from Beer Farm. Certified independent, beerfarm.com, 1.6 standard drinks, 5.5%, hailing out of Metro Cup, Western Australia. This is the milk stout from Beer Farm. Nice two-finger head, nice and dark in colour there. Once again, drinking it out of the Meteor Noel glass. It's a nice glass. I picked it up for a pretty good price as well. Would have been good to have picked up two of these. I generally like to try and find them in pairs in case I do break one. I've still got one there. If I ever break one, I won't use the other. But contradictive when I've only got one and I still decide to use it. Very nice looking glass, very comfortable glass to hold, and makes stouts look $1 million. The aroma, bearing in mind this is just a standard milk stout, not a lot on the aroma there, but I'm expecting big things on the flavour, particularly the statement about using a lot of hops in this particular beer. Here goes, tasting. Still relatively fresh, 6 month, 2020, so It is a pretty solid milk stout for 5.5. I'm not getting a lot of the hops coming through, which is their stated they put into this. I think what I'm getting is traditional European style hops that they've used in it, which is what I use in a lot of my milk stouts, particularly the dessert stouts that I've been making, coconut, double chocolate, cocoa additions. We do tend to use those How Middle Through, low alpha, slightly spicy, slightly herbal, earthy sort of hops that go so well with stouts in particular, but go very very well with milk stouts. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that sort of earthy sort of hay, slight spice that's coming through with these hops that they've used in this. So they have definitely used some traditional type European hops. Very sessional, very easygoing sort of flavour for a stout. A little bit dry, so not a lot of lactose has been used in this particular beer. Not quite got that sweetness about it, as the brewing process has drawn a lot of the sweetness out of it, and I think this is on that level of where it's probably at its best, with the amount of sweetness that's there. It's just enough to keep you, to keep you sort of, indigestion. Keep you going a little bit better than some of the particular standard sort of dry stouts that you get, Irish dries and things like that. Just enough sweetness there to take the edge off and to keep you satisfied. Cheers. Not being disappointed in a lot of beers of late. I seem to find, like I mentioned, more good, pros than I do cons. More good than bad with particular beers. At 5.5%, it done really well. I think even if just bumping it up into a higher amount of roast, a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more alcohol would still render it pretty much the same style of beer and the same flavour. So it's not much I would honestly change with this particular beer to make it any different than how it presents at the moment. Cheers.